A year ago, I went from zero to $31,000 per month in just 3 months. But before that was a year and a half of struggling, jumping between different strategies, buying courses that never actually ended up working for me, and making money here and there, but it was never super consistent. Today, I'm going to break down every stage of this journey, the year and a half of figuring things out, the 3 month sprint where everything actually started to click, and what happened after I hit $31,000 that led me to maintain it, build a super strong business, and eventually start helping other people do the exact same thing. So I was trying a ton of different things at this time. Cold call, cold DM, cold SMS, cold email. The only thing I didn't try was ads at the time. I was also doing a bunch of different niches, offers. I was doing low ticket stuff, high ticket stuff, and I was never super consistent with what I was doing. One thing is a ton of people talk about how important it is to, stick with one business model and just do that one business model, right? And not go try, like if you do agency stuff, you don't want to try drop shipping, you don't want to try crypto, stuff like that, right? You want to stick with one thing. But those same people, they never talk about how important it is to stick with one strategy within that business model. When I was switching between cold calling to cold SMS, essentially I was restarting every single time that I was doing it. And the same time, I was also joining different courses and buying different mentorships and things like that and spending money. And I'm the type of person that I get analysis paralysis. I like to learn about stuff a lot. I like to consume information. But at the time when I was first starting my agency, I was using that as an excuse to not take action and not do the things that I know that I needed to do because it felt like I was being productive. What I failed to realize is the only thing that really matters is doing the things that you know you need to do. Learning about cold calling is way worse than just cold calling itself. Because one thing as time progressed, I learned from those courses and mentorships, couldn't actually apply it because I was never taking action on any of it. Once I actually started doing things and seeing success with what I was doing, I started to realize, okay, a lot of the stuff that I learned from those programs, understood it now because I actually went through the lesson myself. So I was going to learn that lesson regardless, and I was probably going to learn it better and understand it more when I actually started taking action. But I failed to realize that. And I was making money here and there, but again, nothing was super consistent or predictable because I wasn't super consistent or predictable with the strategies and the things that I was doing. Because this was super important. A lot of people, their journey looks like my journey. Like those people quit, but I was just doing it so much and I never ended up giving up. But I think one thing that made me realize these other people that were around me when I was in these courses, less than 1% of these people were actually seeing good results. Those 1% of people were just in it longer than I was, doing one thing longer than I was. Okay. And I realized, okay, if I can just do that stuff, I'm going to see the same results that they're seeing. When I was in high school, I started college early. And so I was doing it for 2 years. And as I was graduating in my, senior year, I kind of realized I don't want to keep doing this. It was really how I felt. So I was like, okay, the only way that I know how to do that is by trusting myself and taking action on myself. I'd never really had a backup plan. I was working that job until I was making enough money. So then I would leave that job and I could go all in my business. There were times I was failing so much, but that was always just kind of the old identity, old me talking and trying to bring me down in a sense. And I realized if I wanted to actually achieve those things, I would have to bet on myself, take action. And so that's what I did. Every day I would make sure that the actions that I was doing was aligning with the person that I wanted to be and the business that I wanted to build. And I want to go back to talking about how important it is to stick with one thing, because I think I was almost quitting right before it was about to see the results that I wanted to see. Go on YouTube and I would watch videos for hours and I would see, oh, this guy's selling this low ticket thing. It seems super predictable. And then I would build a cold SMS system for that. It wouldn't work. Oh, maybe I'm gonna try cold calling for that, do it for a few months or even a month, and then just try high ticket. And I was doing the same thing for everything, right? Offers, niches, everything. I was never giving myself enough time and chance to actually build a system. But if I was just prioritizing, okay, how can I do this many inputs, cold calls, whatever, this much outreach, and then feed it into my show up rate system, get better at sales, and then the output of all of those things would have just been what I wanted, which was money. And that was just a massive mistake on my end. Now, what actually led me to that breakthrough? I was in this program and I was assigned a kind of like a mentor. He wasn't really specific mentor for specifically me. He was kind of like a coach. He was running a successful agency at the time. I think he was doing $20K a month. I thought that was holy shit, this guy's insane. He was the guy that actually really led me to actually start being successful within my business. He started to just tell me what he was thinking about my current situation. And that's what I needed at the end of the day. He was the specific type of person that told me that, okay, you guys are already good at sales. You already know how to build systems. You already have enough money from the, year and a half of failing, from the amount of, clients that you sign here and there. You made enough money, just put that money into ads. Once I actually launched those ads, I realized, wow, this is what I've been missing, right? I was booking meetings on autopilot. And this is the start of the, 3-month sprint from where I went from zero to $31,000 in those 3 months was paid ads, but also it was a different offer and strategy. Prior to that, we were doing websites, go high level automations, and we were bundling bundling it all up into one thing for one price point. Service delivery was hard because we would sign a client for it, but then we would have to do so many different services, but we also like weren't good at it, so we wouldn't get any results. So all we're gonna do for these clients that we sign through ads is we're gonna run Facebook ads for them, and we're gonna get them leads and help them convert those leads into actual paying jobs. We were booking meetings for less than $10. We were booking meetings for like $8, $7, $7.50, all this crazy stuff on these specific ads, and like we've never seen anything like this before. And again, we were just spending $50 a day at the time. Through that entire month, we spent about $1,000 and we made 9.5K back. Okay. And that's the initial month. The power of ads is insane. First off, I'm waking up to meetings on our calendar. These people saw my ad, they saw my offer, they liked what they saw, and they booked a meeting with me. I didn't do anything, right? I just woke up to this meeting on my calendar. We're getting a ton of people who were just submitting their information so we could actually call them and reach out to them. And that's when we closed these main 3 deals and some extra side work on the end. And that 3K was for 3 months. So our retainer was going to be 1K a month, plus they would pay for ad spend, which was, we were only spending like $30 a day, 3K for those 3 months, because it would be like averaging 1K a month for the retainer plus the ad spend for each month. But we would collect it up front, and we just sold 3 of those things. And we were like, dang, we're practically at our first 10K a month. Now let's talk about February, because that was the 25K month. There was 2 main changes that we did in this month compared to the month previous. One was we switched to video ads. So video ads allowed us to get the same, $8 meetings, but with more higher quality prospects, because we were able to make our scripts and our messaging specifically to the type of person that we wanted. So we made these video ads with messages that were directly talking to them. So they actually felt like we were solving their specific problem in their specific situation. And that's why we were able to book a ton of meetings, but we only closed 3 clients, was because specifically afford our services. But in video ads, we were able to target those higher end business owners that we made sure they had enough money to actually pay for our service. So when we hop on these calls, we already knew that they had the money and they wanted to grow. So all we had to do was just get them to take action and move forward with us. We also upped our ad spend. So we were booking, a ton of meetings previously to that. We just realized, okay, we're spending $50 a day. Let's just do more. So that's exactly what we did. We upped our ad spend. We made video ads and we made 25K. We just sold a bunch of these 3K deals. But again, the thing though, that now when I'm looking back is obviously like those were all new clients. So the month prior to that, we had those 3 main deals. They were paying 3K up front for 3 months. But the clients that we signed when we made 25K in a month, they were all brand new clients as well. So we had the previous clients, these new clients, and then that brings us on to the next month where we did 31K. Again, we're all new clients. Now, it wasn't that big of a shift between 25K to 31K. We did up our ad spend a slight bit. After taking a bunch of those calls and talking to these people all day long, we would disqualify people here and there. But regardless, we were just understanding these prospects so well, and we just kind of got in that pocket, and we were starting to get results for those people in month 1. So we had more conviction when we were actually selling these people. They could just sense that off of us. They knew that we knew what we were talking about. So we would hop on that call. We were just, very straightforward. We already understood all of their pain points, what they were struggling with. So once we fully understand our prospects, we were able to just kind of get in that pocket a little bit and just kind of get in that flow state and just rip through it and just close a bunch of clients. But at this time, I was still doing everything myself. When you're in the contracting field, we were specifically working with like landscapers. This time of year, you get results, but you're not getting insane results. So those people from month 1 and month 2, like they were getting break-even results, but it wasn't, enough for them to be like, okay, this is the best thing I've ever invested into. And things kind of started to get a little bit hard for me to manage all of those new clients, run our ads at the front end, build these systems, help acquire these clients in the first place, onboard them and do all this work. And essentially I was kind of just like burning out. I would just wake up, go on my computer, and I would just work all day long, handling all the fulfillment myself. And I realized, okay, this is a problem. And I don't want to just have to work 12 hours a day. I want to be able to make this amount of money, but not have to do that. Which brings me on to my next point, which is systemizing $31,000 per month. So after the initial month, we did have a slight dip. And so then that's when we started to actually hire people and place people in those positions to do the stuff for us. So I had this guy who helped me with some of my service delivery. We had a setter at the time who helped us manage those inbound leads from ads. And we started to build real systems and also relationships with our clients. Okay. Because those guys from month 1, they weren't the happiest, and they were getting results and they were making their money back, but they weren't seeing enough results to be like, okay, this is a no-brainer, I should stay. And we were just kind of prioritizing, okay, how can we build these systems to actually keep these clients long-term, make sure their fulfillment's really good, and make sure we're also getting the ideal clients that we wanted, real results. But also one thing we realized is these people, the service that they're providing isn't super high ticket. Yeah, we could get them to at least break even on their ads, but in order for us to do that, when you're working with general landscapers, their project size is only a few $100. The amount of people that we had to bring them to make it actually worth it for them was really, really hard. So if we can just try to get those clients that do like really high ticket services, like those are the people that we want, because it's really easy to get them a, break even insane return on their ads. And then they would like want to actually stay with us. Results and relationships are the most important part when you want to keep your clients, because yeah, you can get them results, but if you don't talk to them, if you don't actually, speak to them like they're your friend and have a really good relationship with them, well, then they're not gonna like want to stay with you. And so that's what we did. We prioritized, okay, how can we fix our onboarding and client experience to the best of our abilities to make these guys actually friends with us? Okay, so the client experience, we prioritized getting onboarding really, really strong, and also service delivery and me removing myself from that process of even delivering results in the first place. Now, what made me actually transition into coaching? So I was in a program at the time and people just kind of knew us because we were just, signing so many clients, and they were like, how are these guys signing this many clients like this fast? We made good friends with the person who owned the program because it wasn't really a big program. He actually invited us to be coaches in his program. I was the paid ads and systems coach. I was helping people to book these qualified meetings for, $8 to $10. And my partner, Dom, he was doing sales coaching. So he was helping people understand sales and get better at sales and all that stuff. So people in that community started to recognize us. They would join our coaching calls. They would ask us for help. So we thought, okay, how can we help these people a little bit more? We didn't really want to get into coaching to make money from it. Obviously, yeah, that's a good benefit, but I don't want to just make a bunch of money, and I don't want to charge them $5,000 up front, because I was in those positions previous to that where I was, spending 10K multiple times on programs, and I never actually got to see the results that I was looking for. We started doing it, and one of the initial guys that actually joined the program liked us so much, and he wanted to give back to us so much because we were just helping him grow his business, that he just reached out to a ton of people that he knew and got a bunch of people into it. And then that's when we were like, okay, this is actually really fun. We were seeing a lot of fulfillment in it, and we were making a ton of money already with our agency. So we're like, okay, this is just a fun thing. We could take our foot off the gas a little bit with client acquisition with the agency. We can just prioritize building really good systems to keep those clients in the long term, upsell more of the clients that we already had to make it a no-brainer to stick with us all the time, so they were almost like dependent on us. And then we could do this coaching stuff and help people out, super recurring, make money from it. And so that's exactly what we did. We made course content, we started doing coaching calls, we did a group chat with everyone, we started just helping people, and then they started seeing results, right? And it was just an amazing feeling actually helping people. And the biggest thing that people miss is they learn from someone who hit the number once and then stopped hitting the number. And it's so important that you learn from something and learn from someone who was able to consistently hit those numbers, because they prioritize client relationships, client onboarding systems, and all that stuff, because that stuff is what actually grows a business. If you really want to make a high profit agency where you're able to actually make money from it, you need to prioritize your client experience and keeping those clients in the long term, because if they're happy and they're dependent on you for their marketing and their jobs and all their work, they're not going to leave. If you look at the agency model from, an outside perspective, it really is just like booking meetings, closing deals, onboarding, and fulfillment. Where you actually make your real money, your profit that goes into your pocket, is the back end. Okay. How do you make back-end revenue? Is by keeping your clients happy and staying with you. I just want to quickly show you guys that I'm not bullshitting and the things that I'm saying are actually true. So this is my bank account, my agency bank account in specific, all of the money from my agency. We have a few different Stripe accounts, a fan bases account, and also we do bank transfers. So we have the money spread out a little bit. I just want to show you guys all in one central location so you guys know that I'm not lying about what I'm saying. So you can see money in, $35,000, money out, $6,000. So our profit margins are pretty good. Okay. I'm just gonna refresh the page for you guys. So you can see that I'm not lying. Okay. So we just gotta wait for it to load, but there you go. All right, we can do it again, just so you guys know it's the truth. The biggest thing that I learned from going from zero, $31,000 per month, is that you don't need everything before you start. You need to start, figure it out as you go. I spent a year and a half doing things the hard way, and then 3 months doing it the right way once I finally found what worked. Your first clients won't be perfect, your prices are gonna be too low, and you'll make mistakes. But every single one of those experiences teaches you something and gets you closer to where you wanna be. Now, if you want the same systems that I used to land clients and deliver consistent results without reinventing the wheel every single time, click that first link in the description to learn more, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.